Now when I say that Watkins could be used as a winger, obviously I'm not talking about using him as an out and out winger, because first of all Amorim doesn't use wingers in his system. What I'm specifically referring to is the movement that sees Watkins operate in the same way that you would expect a conventional winger to operate during certain phases of the attack. And this example of a pattern of play which I'm about to analyse showcases how using Watkins in this way could benefit both Cunha and Mbeumo. So as usual, in the build-up phase we should see the two interior forwards, Mbeumo and Cunha, drop into these narrow and central areas, which against an aggressive man-to-man press should work to drag the fullbacks high and narrow, vacating space in the channel so that when United work the ball wide in the defensive third, as we do see fairly frequently, Watkins can become the outball, either with a long direct pass into his chest, feet or head in a central position around the halfway line, or as I'm going to talk about in this video, releasing him into the channel. But why exactly is this so effective for Mbeumo and Cunha specifically? Well, before I break that down, if you want to check out any cheap, good quality football jerseys, go over to jerseyfifa.co. They've got a variety of different current season and retro jerseys, including the new season Manchester United releases for the upcoming season. They sent me over the new Manchester United home shirt with Bruno Fernandes on the back, alongside this Manchester United 2006-2007 white away shirt with Ronaldo number 7 on the back, alongside this Zidane Juventus shirt from the 1990s as well. If you use code ATLANTIS at checkout you'll get a 10% discount, so I'll leave a link in the description and in the comment section below. So how will this movement benefit Cunha and Mbeumo? Well, with Watkins' pace and ball carrying ability, when he is able to spin into the channel and run onto the long ball, this is going to work to drag a centre back wide and out of the central area, wherefrom Cunha and Mbeumo can then look to spin the fullback on their back and look to race goal side into a central position when Watkins is moving into the channel on their side. Now like Gyökeres, Watkins' powerful ball carrying ability is going to enable him to carry the ball from a wide area, starting in the middle third all the way into a position in and around the box. But also because of his close ball control and acceleration, the centre backs who do get pulled wide and get isolated against him are put in a dilemma. They can either look to stop Watkins' progression of the ball by moving to engage him, risking being beaten if they get their timing slightly wrong and he's able to shift the ball quickly and burst down the line or cut inside. Or alternatively, if they refrain from engaging, back off but in turn allow Watkins to now carry the ball into a position close to the corner of the box, this is an incredibly dangerous position for the opposition side to be in, because Watkins' ability to manipulate the ball in order to work a shooting angle is elite, not really using much trickery but highly efficient with his touches, particularly with the timing of his touches, waiting and waiting until the moment is right before shifting the ball onto his right foot with one or maybe two touches, before then having the ball striking ability to hit a shot with both power and placement into a variety of different areas of the goal, low and hard towards the near post, the bottom far corner, the top far corner, or even just centrally with explosive power in order to beat the keeper. And over the years for Aston Villa, he has scored a large proportion of his goals from this exact same area and situation. However, this is also the area where I think Watkins could be superior to Gyökeres, as I just feel like Gyökeres' body type and added clunkiness is going to reduce his effectiveness when he is looking to manipulate the ball and drop a shoulder in order to open up a shooting angle against Premier League level centre backs. Whereas Watkins on the other hand just aesthetically looks a lot more agile and fluid with his body movement, making him a bit quicker when he is shifting the ball, which could be the difference between getting away a shot and having the shot blocked. But also this kind of agility means that he doesn't even have to shoot, as he could also fake a shot, dragging the ball the other way, going down the outside of the centre back as well. And there aren't too many strikers that I can think of who are more effective when carrying the ball from the left-sided channel into a position in and around the box. And from Cunha and Mbeumo's point of view, Watkins' ability to run the channel also brings benefits. And not only if he performs this movement and ball carrying action on their particular side, but also from the opposite side as well. In the build-up phase, if Watkins gets released down the left, Cunha can now turn quickly on the inside of his fullback and race forward into a central position, with Mbeumo on the right side also able to spin, this time on the outside or on the inside. If Mbeumo spins on the outside for example and races forward with Watkins on the artificial counter-attack, replicating the sort of counter-attacking situations that he thrives thrived in for Brentford last season, he can now attack the space on the blind side of the remaining centre-back in the centre, with Cunha able to make a run on his inside. Cunha and Mbeumo can work on coordinated patterns of movements from this type of situation in order to provide attacking variety, making United's artificial counterattacks incredibly unpredictable and significantly harder for the opposition defenders to track. For example, maybe Mbeumo spins on the outside of his fullback initially, but as Watkins carries a ball into the final third, he can actually alter the direction of his movement, making a run across the centre-back, coming in off his blind side, whilst Cunha does the opposite, going from a position closer to Watkins on the left to curving his run on the outside of the centre-back. And with the pace of both Cunha and Mbeumo, all three of United's front line are well suited to these quick transitional attacks, as well as Ahmad on the right side. If he makes a run off of the back of the opposition's left-sided midfielder as soon as Watkins is released down the left, wherefrom he can attack the back post behind Mbeumo as well. But another attribute that Watkins possesses in his skill set that distinguishes him from a lot of other strikers who could also maybe provide similar runs and ball carrying ability down the channels is that when he gets in and around the box with the ball at his feet, he is constantly raising his head to look for options inside the box, having outstanding vision and awareness of where his teammates are looking to move, which means that whether Cunha or Mbeumo, depending on the side that United are attacking, their individual positions as well as the positions of the opposition defenders can look to attack high-value central areas, such as the penalty spot or towards the 6-yard box, bursting into that corridor of uncertainty between the goalkeepers and defenders, which alongside Watkins' ability to see and find those runs, should enable them to receive high XG chances frequently, which as I've said numerous times over the summer but most of the fan base seems to completely ignore, is not just beneficial to Cunha and Mbeumo individually, but actually crucial. Cunha overperformed his non-penalty XG by a total of 6.3 goals in the Premier League last season, and Mbeumo by 7.5 goals, the two highest in the entire league, which is clearly an unsustainable goal scoring rate, and a result of them scoring a lot of long-range shots, which you simply can't expect them to score at the same rate next season. If you want them to score as many goals, if not more goals, you have to increase their non-penalty XGs as well as their non-penalty XG per shot. And you can see this clearly by looking at both players' goal scoring metrics from last season. Mbeumo did record the highest goal conversion of any Premier League winger and attacking midfielder last season, also sitting in the 88th percentile for his non-penalty goals. But if you look at his non-penalty XG, non-penalty shot, touches in the box, shots per 90 and shot frequency, they all rank around the 50th to 60th percentile range. Now Cunha's goal scoring unsustainability isn't as dramatic as Mbeumo's, with him ranking in the top 3% for his shots, just like his non-penalty goals, alongside the top 5% for his shot frequency and the 84th for his non-penalty XG. But like Mbeumo, his non-penalty XG per shot, as well as the amount of touches that he takes in the box, are significantly lower in comparison, which obviously does have something to do with the club they play for, but are still areas that you would want to increase at United next season. And so when I said at the start of the summer that Mbeumo, but also Cunha as well, but to a lesser degree, is unlikely to replicate his goal scoring output from last season, next season for United, that is with the caveat of him playing the same role and picking up the same sort of shooting positions as he did at Brentford. If Ruben Amorim can adjust how Cunha and Mbeumo are used in order to increase their average non-penalty XG of the shots they take from the 0.08 and 0.1 per shot that they recorded last season respectively, they definitely could replicate their goal scoring form. And I think signing and then using Watkins and the front three as a whole in this particular way is an effective way of doing so, which should result in Cunha and Mbeumo both scoring less long-range shots from outside of the box and more tap-ins and first-time finishes from passes or cutbacks to the penalty spot. But this may lead you to question if this pattern of play, of simply going direct and relying on Watkins to progress the ball down the channels, could be effective initially, but eventually become too predictable as the season goes on, with opposition sides then adapting. However, I would counter this argument by saying that this could definitely happen, but it could also work in Mbeumo and Cunha's favour as well, not necessarily through receiving higher value chances or their goal scoring directly, but via their ball carrying ability through central areas in the middle third. For example, one way the opposition could look to negate the threat of Watkins being released into the channels with direct balls, while simultaneously continuing to press high, is to simply instruct the fullbacks when the ball is on their side to not follow Cunha and Mbeumo's initial movement deep and narrow, and so therefore not vacating that space in the channels for Watkins to exploit. However, the effect of this is that either Cunha or Mbeumo can then become the free men in behind the opposition's midfield line press, wherefrom they can look to adjust their position in order to open up a passing lane from the goalkeeper or wide centre backs or even the wing backs, particularly Ahmad on the right side, to then receive an incisive pass splitting the midfield and finding their feet, wherefrom with the fullback having not followed their movement deep and them also coming inside onto their stronger foot, they can then turn inside with the ball, then enabling them to drive the ball through the space in the middle third, leading the artificial counter-attack, with Watkins and the other one of Mbeumo and Cunha providing the movement in behind the back line as well as a forward passing option. And as we've seen from Cunha over the last few seasons, particularly on the opening day of the 23-24 season at Old Trafford, this is where he excels, having the pace, power, dribbling and ball carrying ability to transition the attack quickly in a way that most other players can't. Being able to power past any of the opposition players who look to step out and engage him, being extremely vulnerable when having to defend a 1v1 against Cunha in the massive amount of space that their high midfield line has vacated. And so this is just one particular pattern of play that Amorim could use in order to enable Watkins' best attributes to create frequent situations on the artificial counter-attack that result in Cunha and Mbeumo receiving high value shooting opportunities. Now, if you do want to see another video of how Watkins could impact United's side and specific players, let me know in the comment section below. And if you do want to check out any cheap, good quality football jerseys, go over to jerseyfifa.co, use code Atlantis at checkout for a discount. I'll leave a link in the description and comment section. And if you do want to sign up to my Patreon, you can get access to my plot graphs and articles and sign up for the group chat as well. I will leave that linked on the end screen now as well.